Looking for a car you can count on? At AutoMasters, we offer a hand-picked selection of used and certified pre-owned vehicles priced right and ready to drive. With easy financing and expert service, AutoMasters is your trusted dealership from test drive to keys in hand. AutoMasters, driven by trust, powered by service. Visit our website at automasters06.com or stop by today. And oh yeah, tell them so.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome co-host Inside HBCU SportsLab, SWACTV play-by-play voice, and sideline reporter Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Sonia?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
Doing well. Can't complain. You know, it's gonna be a busy next couple of weeks here. We're talking about SWAC championship and then the Celebration Bowl. But I mean, what better time of the year? I mean, this has been fun. It's been a great football season. We've seen a lot of parity within the SWAC, and here we are. We're at the SWAC championship.
We are at the SWAC. I mean, second year in a row. So let's see how it goes. So as you mentioned, the SWAC championship. That is this Saturday at the Memorial Stadium against JSU and Prairie View Panthers. The game is at 3 p.m. And, you know, it's still time to get tickets, guys. So if you haven't bought your tickets, please make sure because it's going to be a great one. So, Charles, you and I will discuss the best teams of the East and the West and who will make it to ATL. I mean, we don't know, but our opinion on who will make it to ATL. So, before we move further, let's go back to the Soul Bowl. That game, just give me your summary of that game. It was a doozy. It had both fan bases clutching their pearls and their hearts. I mean, it was until the last second of the game. It was one for the history books.
Absolutely. I mean, when you talk about some people really had to bite down on their Losartan. I mean, if you don't know Losartan, that's that high blood pressure medicine. You had people going to the high blood pressure medicine, but I mean, that one will absolutely go down in the annals of one of the great Soul Bowls. And you take your hats off to Cedric Thomas and that Alcorn football team. And from this standpoint right here, over the past couple seasons, we've seen Jackson State sort of dominate the line of scrimmage. One of the benchmark sort of numbers that you look at with regards to Jackson State rushing is they normally rush for over 200 yards. I think there was a stat even this season when they rush for over 200 yards, they're 8-0. But credit Alcorn. I think they held Jackson State under that 200-yard marker. 59 of it came on the first play of the game. So that was one of the games over the past. Over the past couple seasons where Jackson State didn't just run roughshod over somebody's defensive line, or you saw a defensive line not wear down by the fourth quarter. So a lot of kudos go to Cedric Thomas. It was a struggle, quite honestly, for Alcorn toward the early part of the season, but they seem to have turned things around after that Florida A&M loss. And they had a spirited fourth quarter in that Florida A&M loss. But from there, they really took off. And you got to give a lot of credit, not only Cedric Thomas, but that staff, that pride within Brave Nation. And they didn't come to lay down. They brought it.
And I felt like, you know, they were saying, hey, we may not make it to the Celebration Bowl, but this is our SWAC championship game today.
Precisely.
And what's amazing, you know, in the office, it's been real quiet. You know, nobody really wants to talk about it. So my counterpart, he was leaving the 21st through today. He was out for the, holidays. And he put a box of Kleenex on my thing. And I was like, oh, thank you. Because I was about to run out. And he said, no, you may need this Monday. He went to Alcorn, by the way.
Yeah,
and I said, doubt it very seriously. But I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous.
I think we all were.
I was nervous because they had won 3 or 4 games back to back. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. They're not gonna, we're not gonna be able to run over them. And when I say, if it was not for those 2 illegal forward passes, we may not be talking about Jackson State on this Saturday, coming up Saturday.
And to that extent, you credit Jackson State. They're getting everybody's best punch, week in, week out. I mean, not
That's
just Alcorn, but we're talking Bethune-Cookman.
Everybody.
Yeah, you're getting everybody's best punch, and you can't say enough about this team. And I mean, I think Rudy Tomjanovich said it. Never underestimate the heart of a champion, and that's what it came down to. Just guys making plays. You go back to Bethune-Cookman. They made the interception, ran it in, made put the game out of reach against Alcorn. Defensive stop at the end of the game twice. How often does a team get 2 Hail Marys? But just the fact that they bent, but they did not break, and you give a lot of credit to Jackson State and the heart of a champion. It's going to take a lot to beat Jackson State, but this is a formidable team coming into Jackson this upcoming weekend.
That's true. So, Charles, the Tigers have a long history of success in the SWAC. This will be their 21st shot at the SWAC title, whereas the 9-3 Panthers, and both teams are 9-3, by the way. The 9-3 Panthers have had fewer championship appearances. However, their recent performance has put them in the running for the best in the SWAC. Charles, will you give this game, will it be like more experience versus resurgence?
Interesting question. I think some people will look at it in that regards, but let's go back and let's understand this about Prairie View. I think a lot of people associate them with the 80-game losing streak, and that's fact. That's part of their history. But we have to understand that they are one of the original SWAC members. They have a history of their own. They have 11 SWAC championships. You can't just overlook their I guess their ascendancy to the SWAC championship. The last time they were in the SWAC championship was 2021.
2009. Was it 9 or 1?
Well, 2021 when they were last there.
Yeah.
But they last won a SWAC championship in 2009.
Yeah. Okay.
But I give so much credit to Coach Tremaine Jackson. In terms of be in the present, be in the moment now. We don't live in the past history. And this team that he's bringing to Jackson this upcoming weekend, if you haven't watched them, let me tell you, they remind you a lot of the 2024 Jackson State team. They are fundamentally sound. They run the football in between the tackles. They have a couple of running backs. To be honest with you, they have 3 running backs that can, at any point in time, can hurt you. They have a competent quarterback who's only gotten better over the past 3 games. I think over the last 3 games, I mentioned today in the coaches press conference, they're averaging 54 points per game. So I don't care who the opponent is. When you're putting up points, it means something. So and the dog mentality that Coach Tremaine Jackson has instilled into this football team, they're going to be a scary opponent to deal with. And one of the things that's going to jump out at you is they're physical. Like I said, they remind you of the 2024 Jackson State team. They like to wear you down with that run game. They will throw the ball a little bit, but it's the running game that sort of sets up the pass. And if you're not careful, they get that running game up and going. It could be a long day.
And and then a lot of people don't know, but this is Coach Jackson's first year as head coach, and he's in the running for the finalists for the Eddie Robinson Award.
Yeah, first year as Prairie View's head coach, but don't get it twisted. He was playing for the Division II national championship last year at Valdosta State. Them hiring Coach Tremaine Jackson from Valdosta State was a tremendous coup, not only for Prairie View, but for the conference as a whole. And he'll tell you in a heartbeat, playing postseason football, this is something that we do. Whether you're talking about Colorado Mesa, where he was at, to Valdosta State, he is accustomed, and he carries that swagger of a championship coach, and he is accustomed to winning. So, when you win the Gulf South Conference, which we are familiar with regards to teams like Valdosta State, Delta State being a member of the Gulf South Conference, they play good football in the conference. So, Prairie View hiring him from Valdosta State was huge for that program.
That's awesome. So, I'm gonna go back to Jackson State just a little bit. Could Jay, like you said, we're talking about a team that kind of reminds you of the 2024 JSU Tigers, but the Tigers, could their culture be a deciding factor in this game? And when I mean culture, I mean their experience, the titles, the fan base. Could it be a deciding factor for the Tigers?
I think one of the things I'm always impressed by, tickled by, is a lot of your old Jackson State players. They have that swag of like, we were up 14 when we got off the bus. So that's part of the Jackson State DNA, in terms of carrying that swagger into, we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to be playing for championships.
Right.
That is just what we do. So yes, culture is a huge thing with regards to getting in championship games and just being comfortable, being comfortable with knowing that you're going to make plays to get another ring. So I think, though that's huge. And then, of course, playing at the vet. The vet, since 2021, has become a house of horrors for teams. Jackson State, when they are in Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium with that crowd and it gets to rocking and the boom gets to playing, and it is a different environment. You talk to coaches around the league, and, the vet is one of those number one places. They can't stand coming to the vet because they know they're going to get a loud fan base, a proud fan base. They're going to get the band involved. And, now we see the pyrotechnics. Karamu does a tremendous job as a stadium DJ, keeping the fans involved. So it's a party atmosphere. You have to fight through that to get the win at Jackson.
You got to fight through it. And, a few teams kind of fought through it. And you mentioned Bethune, Alabama State, Alcorn. Those games could have went either way. I mean, it was crazy. This game Saturday can go either way. What are some key factors that JSU needs to ensure a win on Saturday?
It comes down to Jackson State being who they are. Their running game is second best in the nation. They're second in FCS in rushing. So you're asking for Ahmad Miller. You're asking for Dontario Davenport. You're asking for Travis Terrell to get up and going with regards to what they are able to do there. And the similarities are sort of interesting because I think Jackson State's run game does a great job in setting up the pass. You're going to have to pay attention. Obviously you want to know where Nate Rembert is for Jackson State, but you also got to pay attention to guys like Jameel Gardner. You also got to pay attention to guys like Janalen Dupree. And the fun thing about Jackson State's offense is there are so many toys. Some would argue that having so many toys, that at times can make the offense stagnant. But when they're all up and going, it is as formidable offense as anybody is going to see in HBCU football.
That's true. So, moving on to the Panthers, they finished the season off strong in their final game against Valley, 59-6. A lot of people probably like, oh, it was Valley, but, Valley be FAMU tonight, okay?
And you found out.
I mean, Valley has FAMU's number. They have beat them 2 seasons in a row.
So you found out, yeah.
Right. And with that, they have a balanced offense and defense. Is this program turning a corner?
Well, when you say turning a corner, it sort of implies that they have been down for some time. This is
you don't hear. And when I say turning a corner, and like you said, they were last time they were in the playoffs was 2021, but you don't hear a lot about the Panthers. And
point taken. And that being said, they have not been in the championship game, but they normally have a really good regular season. And this stretches back, going back into from 2010 forward. They're one of the more consistent programs in the SWAC. It's just the reality of it is they've run into Alcorn that during the mid part of the 2010 to 2020, they had a run. They run into Southern. Southern had a run. They run into Grambling. Grambling had a run. They finally broke through in 2021. But from a consistency standpoint, they've had multiple winning seasons. So, is it turning a corner in regards to getting back to the championship game from 2021? Yes, it is. Again, you give a lot of credit to Tremaine Jackson with regards to, sort of instilling that same Jackson State type swagger within this Prairie View program. And I'll tell you what, they're going to be as scary a program over the next few years with Tremaine Jackson at the helm, because that guy is walking, talking, breathing. We play for championships, and he came into the conference with the expectation that Prairie View was going to be playing for a SWAC championship.
So, when you were talking, because I love what you were saying about the Panthers, they remind me, I guess they're like and stay with me, they're like the Steelers of the SWAC. The Steelers has always had good seasons, but they've never, they hadn't been in the, you get what I'm saying? So
that's fair. That's fair.
It reminds me of them. So I get what you're saying. So does this birth earn renewed respect within the conference for the Panthers? Although they have always been steady, but being a part of this SWAC championship game, not COVID 2021, but this particular season, does it give them renewed respect in the conference?
I think whooping teams renews respect. And that's what Prairie View has done this past season. They took care of everybody over there in the SWAC West. Whether you're talking about going
everybody.
Whether you're talking about going to Alcorn, getting a win on the road at Alcorn, winning the State Fair Classic up there in Dallas against Grambling. That's the team that defeated Jackson State. They beat Grambling handily. But when you start taking a look around, a very tough, battle-tested first game against Texas Southern. Texas Southern finished the season with a winning record. So, you have to respect this Prairie View team in terms of what they bring. They are the number one defense in the SWAC. When I say the similarities to 2024 Jackson State, they're eerie from that standpoint. They do a great job, I think, of stopping the run, which is something that, he preached since day one. They have a capable secondary. I think they had one or two guys that made all SWAC, made an all SWAC team, first and second team. So, up and down the board, they are a good team to take a look at.
I love it. So, Charles, who are we to look at for both squads? What key players from Panthers and the Tigers are we looking at on Saturday?
Sure. I think it'll be some of the unsung people that you want to pay attention to. And I say that from this standpoint. Prairie View has two great running backs in Lamaje McDowell and Chase Bingman. Chase Bingman, a tremendous freshman who's come in for this Prairie View program. But they have another running back, a guy by the name of Shadrick Bird. Shadrick Bird has had a couple of games where he's led them in rushing. So those are guys that you have to pay attention to. They also have from a receiving standpoint, Josiah Rockwell. We saw today he was named first team all SWAC. Josiah Rockwell is second in the SWAC in terms of passes caught and pass and yardage as well. So Josiah Rockwell, a tremendous football player, but it's on the opposite side of Josiah Rockwell. You have to pay attention to a guy like Andre Dennis, tremendous speed. He can get behind the secondary. So those are a couple of individuals to look at with regards to Prairie View's offense. I think they have one of the sort of an unsung defense, but they have a guy by the name of Sterling Roberts who roams around there at middle linebacker. He's a guy who goes sideline to sideline, and he normally will have double-digit tackles. So those are some guys to pay attention to with regards to Prairie View. On the flip side of that, I think it's the same situation with regards to Jackson State. We know Ahmad Miller. We know what Ahmad Miller does week in, week out. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards, but you have to pay attention to guys like Ontario Davenport, especially when they get in the red zone. We've seen what he's able to do for Jackson State in terms of punching it into the end zone. You have to pay attention to Travis Terrell. You have to kick away from Travis Terrell. He is dynamic with regards to what he can do on special teams. And for a guy being that small, he can run the ball in between the tackles. But we've seen all three of those backs get 100 yards. So any one of those guys can get off for Jackson State. But, you turn the film on, immediately Ahmad Miller jumps off the tape. In regards to looking at the receiving core, obviously, you got to pay attention to Nate Rember. But like I mentioned earlier, they have other weapons. They got Janelle Dupree. They have Jameel Gardner. They have Jency Riley. from a tight end perspective. So
Yeah.
this game kind of comes down to which one of those unsung heroes is going to be the main guy that day, because I guarantee you the main guys, everybody's going to be paying attention to.
That's true. That is true. Speaking of main guy, starting quarterback Jacobian Morgan, there's been talk that he's coming back for the SWAC championship. Does Coach Taylor stick with Lockhart, this true freshman who has done a tremendous job for the Tigers and has actually helped bring us to the SWAC championship, or is he going to go with Jacobian?
That's a question I asked TC today at the SWAC press conference.
I figured you did.
In regards to, is this a dilemma? Or is it an opportunity? Is it a dilemma from the standpoint of you got two quarterbacks who won games for you? In fact, Jacobian marshaled you into the Celebration Bowl and your Black College National Champions based on what he was able to do. There is that senior leadership with regards to Jacobian Morgan. The other dilemma is you got a hot freshman. He's won 5 games. And, you know, he might not do some of the same things that Jacobian can do, but guess what? He's winning football games. So it's a very interesting dilemma. From talking to TC today, they're going to continue to evaluate Jacobian through the week. I'm sure we won't know who will actually get the snap until day of. I think there's gamesmanship in that regards in terms of Jackson State not letting the cat out of the bag on that, which obviously was a good thing. But trust you me, I think Prairie View's coaching staff has prepared for both quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Last question, Charles, analyzing both teams' records, performances this season, in your opinion, who goes to ATL on the 13th?
My heart says Jackson State. I think Jackson State does have one too many toys, and I think you touched on a little bit earlier in regards to the culture, in regards to Jackson State's fan base being the 12th man, and I thought I saw something that I've advocated for years. But I think Karamu Cunning had a video where he put out, hey, listen, you know, a little football etiquette 101. When we get inside the red zone, be quiet. You know, when it's third down and we're on defense, hey, let it rip then. Absolutely. But when we're trying to get inside the end zone, it behooves our fan base to not, what do we want? TD, hey, relax.
Not now.
Let my lineman hear the quarterback when we get inside the end zone. So I think, you know, from a fan base perspective, you know, that is a huge factor. There could be inclement weather. We know it's going to rain Thursday and Friday. We'll see what happens actually game day and how the field holds up, you know, in regards to that. But I think Jackson State, you know, I alluded to it earlier. I think they have a plethora of guys who are ready to make a play. And we haven't even talked about sort of the defensive side of the ball. When you're talking about Jeremiah Williams anchoring the middle of that Jackson State defensive line, Quincy Ivory able to come off the edges there. You know, who's going to make a play? Reed Pulliam. Who's going to make a play on the defensive side of the ball? Because I think it's going to come down to that. It's going to be, listen, get your blood pressure medicine ready, because I think it's going to be another one of those type games where the balance will be decided within the last 7 minutes of the ball game. And whoever has the ball, I think they have the opportunity to decide their fate. And we'll see what happens, because I think both running games are just that special, where they can impose their will. And the hope for me is that at least that Jackson State has the ball fourth quarter. They have a ball with about 6 or so minutes left. And you know what? It's time to give it to the workhorses. Time to give it to Ahmad Miller. Time to give it to Ontario Davenport. Time for Travis Terrell to, you know, get those hard 3-4 yards or whatever the case might be. And that Jackson State can figure out a way to close this game out to get back up now.
Well, I'm going to be doing a bunch of more praying this week.
Yeah, I think God was on speed dial last week against
I'm gonna he on extra. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing my job. I'm gonna be on my knees because we got to make it back. We got to make back on the 13th. Charles, thank you so much for joining me today. However, you know, we play a little game called What You Know. I'll ask you a few questions and you choose the one that best fits. I think you know these because you're like a SWAC historian in your you just know stuff for no reason sometimes, and it's weird to me, but I love it.
We'll see. Let me take a swig of water. Let's see.
Okay. Switch it around. What teams in the SWAC has never won a SWAC title?
So there are multiple teams that have never won a SWAC title. I would say Mississippi Valley would be one. I would also say Bethune-Cookman would be another.
Correct. How many SWAC titles has JSU won? 8, 10, 9, or 15?
SWAC titles. Jackson State would be 15 SWAC titles.
Correct. Yes. How many SWAC titles have PV won? 3, 1, 2, or 8?
I think the official number for Prairie View SWAC titles.
Football, not overall.
Yeah. No, SWAC football titles. I think the official number would be 11.
It's 11. I saw that, but I thought that was for all the titles because they said some of them were tied, and I know Prairie View tied a lot during the SWAC tourney for basketball.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you're talking about a program that dates back literally to 1920. So I'd go with the over on that.
Okay, cool beans. In October 2012, the NCAA officially vacated all wins from the 2010 season as part of their penalties for playing ineligible players during the season. This resulted in the vacating of all 9 victories in their SWAC championship back-to-back. What team was this? Was it Southern University, Texas Southern, Alabama State, or UAB?
It should have been Texas Southern.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Last one. Who is the winningest coach in the SWAC? W.C. Gordon, Eddie Robinson, Coach Marino Kasem, or Roger Cador?
That would be proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha, Coach Eddie Robinson.
Correct. You were 100. You were 100 today.
How about that? The water worked.
I knew. No, I just knowing information for no reason works. I knew you were going to get this. Charles, thank you so much again for joining me. Tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media and listen to your show.
No doubt. From a social media perspective, I'm all on Instagram, Facebook under my name. But you can hear me Tuesday and Thursday on Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU SportsLab. We also do a Sunday morning show where we recap some of the action that happened this past Saturday. Of course, this past season, I was on SWACTV doing a play-by-play during football games. So I want to appreciate for the SWAC for giving me that opportunity. But you can also catch me. I've been doing a little Texas Southern basketball, and then I'm the voice of Texas Southern baseball as well. So I'm active.
Flew to baseball. I was like, all right.
I'm pretty active.
Right. Guys, you can follow me on She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia and Charles with She Say Sports. Go Tigers.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.